Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, an authentic football fan channel made in Manchester. Alongside me today, Mr. Samuel McCabe. And the topics that we are going to go through. Let me go through these on the table. So some interesting ones. Sancho shitstorm with that comment on Marcus Rashford's post last night. Casemiro potentially to Brazil, Flamengo specifically, because their transfer window is still currently open. We've just had a bit of news in the last kind of 10 minutes on Patrick Dorgu in terms of a bit of insight on his transfer. And I've got something interactive towards the end, which is called Guess the Quote, which is basically I'm going to read out some fake ones, I'm going to read out some real ones, and you've got to guess which one is real and which one is fake, effectively. Which Sam didn't know about until now. So are you happy with that, Sam?
Yeah, that's fun.
Yep, sweet. All right, let's get into it. All right, Sancho is where we have to start, Sam, because this is the big topical discussion point at the moment. Yesterday, after Aston Villa's win over Tottenham, obviously as players do, they take to social media, they go on Instagram, they put the little carousels together with the captions, and they get usual kind of comments from players, etc. No problem with that, right? Jadon Sancho comments on it with the words simply saying freedom. Now, what I'd like to ask Sam is, freedom from what? Expectations? 300 grand a week? What's his freedom from?
Yeah.
I'd love to know.
There was also the praying thank you hands emojis on it as well, wasn't there? If I'm looking into the fact that Sancho said it is freedom from some sort of oppression or freedom from some sort of prison or like situation that was not fun and was toxic and they didn't enjoy. It's a bit weird that he's technically still employed by the club. Like, they haven't bought him yet, so we're technically still paying a portion of his wages, and you're slagging off your employer on social media. It's a bit, it's a bit unprofessional at the least, isn't it? It's very unprofessional, like to just go, oh yeah, the employer that's still paying me. I'm going to slag them off on social media on a player who's also left the club and gone on loan because of underperformance, and the same thing with Sancho. Not only did Sancho underperform, he refused to play for us as well. So that's like a double negative there. And I think Chelsea fans are starting to find him out because I think Statman Dave put it up and said in the last 11 games, 1 assist, no goals.
Yeah.
So I think they're starting to find out who this guy is and what he's really about, which United fans have been fully aware of like the last sort of 3 years. So yeah, a very unprofessional comment. I don't see the need for it. Why don't you just put something supportive, like "Well done, mate," or "Congrats on your debut"?
Yeah.
Like what? I don't.
He's still obviously bitter,
he knew what he was doing. Like let's put it that way. He knew exactly what he was doing.
What I find absolutely hilarious about this is he had maybe 1 or 2 good games, which he's more than capable of doing.
Yeah.
I'm sure he had 1 or 2 games for us, probably maximum. Same thing with Dortmund. These clubs never learn. Dortmund putting that thing out in the Champions League saying you weren't familiar with his game and these all right. Let's see how long that lasts, mate. Because the next game and then the game after that he's going to put in a fucking stinker and all your fans are going to be moaning that you spent all these millions on this player when he's had these issues at every club. We and Sam have identified this so many times. Every single club.
England as well.
And England. Watford, City, United, Dortmund, England, now Chelsea. Repetition. It's happened at every single club. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink it. He's definitely talented. There's no two ways about it. 100%. But I think he would be a lot more successful, personally, if he applied himself correctly. Because he hasn't got that blistering pace, has he, to beat a man, for example. And it feels like he almost needs everything perfectly set up around him in order for him to flourish. And I think his career at this point, Sam, I don't know if you agree, I think it's going to start going backwards.
Yeah, like like you said, he lacks the pace to sort of like just blister past the player and like do something. So he has to be super switched on and super intelligent about his game and stuff. And he doesn't come across as a very football IQ intelligent guy. Like he just doesn't. And did he get hauled off at halftime for Chelsea?
Yeah, I saw a clip of I think it's a big Chelsea fan. He's on with like Flex on DR Sports stuff called Mateus or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was raging at watching him play. He says all Sancho does is tap tap tap. Doesn't beat a man. Doesn't go past him. He just taps and then he'll go back. Like it's so frustrating. It's not direct at all.
We've been there. We've been there. So. Yeah, it remains to be seen. I don't know what the clause like. Do they have to buy? Is it an obligation? Or
I
they have
don't
to
know.
buy him?
This is what I wanted to get into because it's if they finish above 14th, which is a weird clause in itself.
Which they should.
Which they definitely will do. There's no chance they'll drop. I know they're having in a bit of stinking form in a minute, but there's no chance to drop into the bottom half because we're still there and Tottenham are as well. So you've got to be shit than us in order to do that.
Yeah.
So they're definitely going to finish above 14th, but I don't know if they could just say, nah, we don't want to do this now. I don't know if it's an obligation.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is there an option where they go, yeah, he's not performed? Like, is there certain metrics he has to hit? Does he have to sit certain amount of appearances, certain amount of goals, or like whatever? Like, does he have to hit those?
Yeah. If he turns up to training 10 times in a row, then we'll pay the fee.
On time. Does he show up on time? Which was a problem for him at Dortmund. It's so weird. Like, it's just such a bizarre situation that potentially, I don't know this for a fact, but potentially he could be back at us this summer.
Oh, that'd be a shit show, wouldn't it?
Do you know what I mean? Like, that is like, you think Amorim went mad at Rashford, gets his hands on Sancho, he might be killed. Might actually be killed.
I think it's easier for Rashford to succeed because, like I said, he has got that quality to go and beat a man, and
quick,
he is in Emery's system. I think he really, really suits that kind of transitional game. Maresca's bought in him because he's thought, you know what, he's a talent, 20-odd million quid. I'll take the fucking gamble. Literally, I've done on, God, how many wingers? I mean, João Felix at the moment at Milan. Mudryk can't even get a look in. He spent £80 million on him. Like, they just seem to be buying these flop wingers.
Mudryk's suspended for a drug test, isn't he? That's why.
Shit! I forgot about that. But even so, prior to that, he weren't getting a fucking look in, was he? So
no.
I just think it's interesting now. You're starting to see these like freedom things, and Jesse Lingard did a lot of it as well. And I see this thing, and I'm like, mate, lads, if you applied yourself as much as some of the fucking professionals did, you'd be half as successful as a Darren Fletcher or a John O'Shea. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they have got you've got more talent than players. They just don't work hard enough.
It's the old phrase, isn't it? Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard.
Absolutely.
Like, you have to have both. Like, we've had several players who come for United who have talent and then failed. But then we've had players come through. Nobody who's ever come for United who's worked hard has failed. Yeah. Like, nobody. They've always gone on to, whether it's at United or somewhere else, they've gone on to, like, took a look at Scott McTominay, bust his ass every fucking game, works his fucking tail off, and now he's absolutely smashing it at Napoli. Anthony Elanga absolutely works hard every single game. Yeah, athlete as well. Is it Forest absolutely smashing it? Like, and then you go back like to Ji-Sung Park, Darren Fletcher, John O'Shea. These weren't the most talented people in the world, but fuck me, did they work their asses off and get into the team and are always one of the first names on the team sheet. So you've got to have both. Like, you can't just have a talent and then just expect it to happen, which is what Jadon Sancho expects to happen because it went well for him at Dortmund for a couple of years, and now he just expects it to happen. And it's just like, mate, you're the issue. It's not the club or the environment. It's you. That's the common denominator.
I remember watching on my TikTok, on my For You page, it came up of, he was doing a video with him, and he was comparing him to players where he goes, okay, they do like a blink when they name a better player than you. And he was naming all these players. In my opinion, I can't remember the specific ones, but a lot of them was better than him, and a lot of them have had more longevity. Yeah. And he was like, no, not better than me. Not better than me. Just still this kind of arrogance about himself. And arrogance is okay, for example, in Zlatan's case. Zlatan is very arrogant, right?
Back it up.
But he backs it up.
Yeah.
Ronaldo is insanely arrogant, but he has fucking won everything in the game pretty much. Yeah. So he backs it up. When arrogance comes with a side plate of, lack of fucking effort, it comes off even worse then, doesn't it?
Do you know what? Do you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember Adel Taarabt, who used to play for QPR?
Yeah.
It was just all flash one it, and people were like, nah, he's like in training, he's fucking phenomenal, he's great. And on game day, he would just disappear or go missing or do a couple of tricks. And Harry Redknapp kept saying, no, this is a good player. And he just never went anywhere, did he? Like, it just never happened. And there's a bunch of players like that where there's like, they have flashes of brilliance, but they never quite seem to sort of register it and like make a career out of it. And football's full of those players. Like, it's full of them.
Yeah, Hatton Ben Arthur's another one that springs to mind as well.
Yeah.
He was one had so much talent, but then was kind of, if you don't play it.
Did he go to PSG?
I think he went to France. I don't know if he went to PSG or not, but he went to France and then he kind of drop down the teams. As you see, like with Ravel Morrison was another one who United, then it was like still Premier League level, going to West Ham, going here and there, then down to like, over to Lazio and these kind of clubs, then down to like, you saw like West Brom and then it just, continues to decline. And I think you're going to see a similar thing with Jadon Sancho. I think you're going to see him at Chelsea. Maybe he don't work out at Chelsea, he kicks up a shitstorm there and then moves, to Europe to try gain some form back. Someone else will take a risk on him. And the cycle continues. Just the last question on this Sancho thing, because I think it's an interesting one. Do you see any of them at all part of England's squad?
Sancho and Rashford?
Yeah. In the World Cup?
Sancho, definitely not. I don't see a world. I don't see a world where he comes back into the England squad ever. Ever. Sancho. Like, how long's it been since he was last in a squad?
Long time.
Long time, man. He's missed, like, 2 tournaments, 3 tournaments? So. He missed that penalty, didn't he? The Euros at
against Italy
thing, and then
that was probably the last time close to that.
Yeah. So that's 2 tournaments, 8 years nearly.
Crazy.
So it's been a while. So I think Sancho's never getting near it. I think England depends on how good his run is at Villa. I think if he can have a good run at Villa this last half of the season, he might have a chance.
Yeah.
I don't think he has a good chance because we've got a lot of forwards in that area who could play a lot of those areas really well. But he definitely has an opportunity if he could play well for Villa, like towards the end of this season. But we'll see.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I keep thinking there's a tournament this year, and he's not. It's next year, isn't it?
No,
the World Cup.
Next year, yeah.
So if he has a good stint, he might get himself back into the picture with England under Thomas Tuchel. But then it's like, well, where does he go then? Does he leave in the summer to go somewhere else? Or
he's going to have to, isn't he? Like,
I think so.
I think as long as Amorim is still in charge of United, I don't think he gets back in. Like, I think he's going to have... I know there's been, like, paper reports about saying he sees Villa as just this thing to get back into football and get playing again, but he has his eye on, like, Barcelona or something like that playing in the summer, which I don't know what happens with Barcelona's finances, to be honest with you, but I don't know whether that's even possible. But, yeah, there's stuff like that. So I think that's where he sees himself going at Barcelona and AC Milan, top European club. So I think that's probably where he sees himself going.
Yeah, I agree with that. What we saying in the comments, people, smash the like on the video for us and subscribe to the channel. Lumen in the chat saying big up to you, sir. Shows his poor mentality continues. So glad we got an obligation clause. Exactly. Pundits and fans blame United or Ten Hag. Zero self-awareness. United are paying him to play against us and happy to sell him for 25 mil. To be honest, when you look at that kind of deal, a lot of people maybe was moaning at it at the time. But I would have took 25 million because it was just never ever going to work out for him, was it?
Just get him out the door, innit? Just get something for him. Like Anthony, just get him out the door and get some money for him. Like that's what it is at this point. Like just get it done because there's no benefit to keeping him at the club, like at all. Like there's just zero benefit. So just get something for him, get him out the door. By the way, I've got the FA Cup draw on my screen here. Right, so we'll let you know who United get when it gets pulled out.
Right, I had no idea that was on, by the way. So we'll definitely keep me updated on that. Especially the interesting ties as well. If there's any like big teams playing.
Yeah.
Should we have a prediction? See who we get.
Well, we are the number 1 ball. So
okay. Will we be the number 1 winners?
The teams left. Let's see. FA Cup team draw. Let's have a look. Where are we going? Date, time, ball numbers. There we go. So we can have Millwall, Brighton, Preston, Exeter or Forest. I think they've got a replay. Ipswich.
Sorry. Millwall, Brighton, Exeter,
Preston. So it's Exeter or Nottingham Forest because I think they've got a replay. So I think you have to whoever wins. Ipswich.
Yeah.
Wolves.
Yeah.
Fulham. Newcastle. Yeah. Plymouth. Bournemouth. Villa. Burnley. City. Cardiff. And then Doncaster Rovers or Crystal Palace. It's one of those two.
Yeah. Interesting because we spoke about it yesterday, didn't we? That a lot of big teams have gone out. So obviously Arsenal have gone out. Yeah. Chelsea have gone out. Liverpool have gone out. Yesterday. Yeah. So who do we think out of those teams? Millwall, Brighton, Exeter, or Forest, Preston, Ipswich, Wolves, Fulham, Newcastle, Plymouth, Bournemouth, Villa, Burnley, City. Burnley, I'm going to say.
We'll probably get Brighton, won't we? Which I'm dreading
No, I hope not.
because they will kill us.
I
we'll get
really
killed.
hope not.
All right, we haven't got Burnley because they've just drawn out against Preston, so Burnley's out.
Well, that's my guess gone straight. I thought it'd be Burnley away.
Villa, next one out.
This is a live reaction, by the way, people.
Yeah.
I had no idea this was going on. So Burnley have got who, sorry?
Preston. And Villa have got Cardiff. Theo Walcott drawing it as well.
Oh, I can't stand him.
No. So Doncaster or Crystal Palace. And they get Millwall. So
I feel like we should have, we're swirling the hands in the pot.
Yeah.
Live FA Cup draw. Welcome, people.
Number 1, United, out of the hat.
Okay, at home. Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big one because a few of them teams there are...
Oh, that's not bad. Fulham. That's all right. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Obviously, we beat them in the league at the moment, haven't we? But...
Yeah. So, Newcastle against Brighton. Oh, thank God for that. We don't get Brighton.
Yeah, and one of the big teams going out there potentially as well. The bigger team, should I say. Absolutely.
And then, what's this one?
Villa's got an easy draw there. Who?
Bournemouth against Wolves. No, that's an easy one. Bournemouth, isn't it? They're smashing.
Another 2 Premier League ties there.
Yeah, Wolves are going out of that. They get smashed.
Who the mighty Plymouth got? That's what I want to know.
There we go. They're going to get City, aren't they? Man City are out of the hat. This is going to be Plymouth. I guarantee it.
You're probably right.
Plymouth. I fucking told you. I knew it.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. But I'll tell you what. If Plymouth are beating fucking Liverpool, they go do it against City, man.
Yeah,
go do it against City.
Yeah, and then Ipswich against Exeter or Forest. That's the last one. Fucking bastard. See, always an easy route to the fucking final.
So if people are just joining live, this is the FA Cup draw as it stands. It's just finished now. Burnley versus Preston, Aston Villa versus Cardiff, Doncaster or Crystal Palace versus Millwall, Newcastle versus Brighton, Bournemouth versus Wolves, Man City versus Plymouth, Ipswich versus Exeter or Forest, and the mighty Manchester United at Old Trafford against Fulham. Let's get a live reaction to that, Sam, because at home... we have been dog shit, haven't we? And Fulham, both games have been pretty dire as well. 1-0s. But we have got a good record as well against them, haven't we?
Yeah, undefeated against Fulham, I believe. I think. Although at home we have been atrocious.
Really bad.
I would say. Yeah. Fucking atrocious. When we have got wins, it's been last minute Hail Marys in the fact that Ahmad, Southampton, and then Harry Maguire against Leicester, it being an offside goal. So there's that. Yeah, it's a tricky. I'll take it. Of all those things that I didn't want Brighton because
agree.
They'll kill us. I would have been confident against City, to be honest with you, because I think we'd show up.
We play against the better teams, don't we, to be fair?
Yeah. I think we'd show up against City, and then Plymouth I didn't want because they would batter us as well.
Yeah.
I think Plymouth batter us. So I think it could have been worse. Villa and Brighton, I think, could have been bad games. I think those two have been bad games. But yeah, Bournemouth as well be a shit game because they've battered us as well. So I think it could be a lot worse.
Sorry, Ray just put, what a surprise City draw Plymouth at home. Who could have predicted that?
Fucking knew it.
Could have been worse. Didn't want Newcastle, Bournemouth, Brighton, Villa, City. Even a smaller team, we would drop our level to a scrap. We don't win easy. Yeah, Fulham, look, we've got a great record against them. So it's not the worst one, but obviously you would prefer maybe a Doncaster or Millwall or someone like if they get through. Cardiff would have been another one which would have been great. Like give me that. But I suppose it looks better because if you look at our FA Cup run last year, we beat Liverpool and we beat Man City, so it's kind of got credit then in the bank on it that you've beat big teams to actually win it. You've not got some lucky kind of run. We beat Arsenal and then you beat Fulham. You start stacking these decent teams, so I'm alright with that.
We always seem to suffer against lower teams as well. Like Newport was tricky, wasn't it? Like we conceded 2 goals and almost didn't get out of that.
Middlesbrough, we got knocked out.
Middlesbrough with a handball, fucking stupid decision. And then Coventry almost knocked us out in the semi-finals. Yeah. So, yeah, we don't seem to do well.
It's when the expectations are for us to win, that's when we don't do well. When the expectations are against us, that's when we show up. So, Yeah, I'm curious to know when those ties will be played as well. I don't know. I'm guessing kind of March time.
Yeah.
We'll wait and see if we get the dates on that.
Look
But yeah,
at this,
please.
By the way, City's road to the FA Cup so far: Salford City,
Oh my God.
Leyton Orient, and now Plymouth. You can't make this shit up, can you?
Yeah.
You can't.
They
We've
always...
had Arsenal, fucking Leicester, and now Fulham. We've had 3 Premier League teams, and they've had fucking League One opposition all the way through. Absolute bollocks.
Well, it's like we say, you know, we've got a better road, we've got more credit for doing it. If City win it, I mean, what have you done? Beat a couple of League Two teams and Championship teams to get to the final. Fucking mugs. So, yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I want to move the conversation on, Sam. I was going to discuss Casemiro next. I literally completely didn't realise that the FA Cup job was ongoing. But we were speaking about players going out the door and the need to move them on. Now, we've had more rumours today that Casemiro could leave to Flamengo in Brazil because their transfer window is still open. We would obviously pay the majority of his wages, but he can go play football effectively, and he's not just sat around, you know, kind of gathering dust. Any point in this move? Is he better than that level, in your opinion?
He's probably slightly better than that level, but the wages are the issue, isn't it? I think a club would have come in for him by now had his wages not been so astronomical high. The only clubs that could afford those wages are Saudi, and it seems like that died off, didn't it? Like, it was a bit of interest, and then apparently they've switched their things to more younger players, the approach they seem to be going for now. So that came off the table. PSG, but they're not. They've changed their model as well. Like, they've gone off the young, exciting midfield talent as well and forward talent. So that's off the table. And then a Premier League team, and I don't think any Premier League team wants to sign him. Like, the only reason Rashford has gone is because Villa can afford to sign him and pay, what is it, 70% of his wages, 60% of his wages? Nobody else could afford to pay his wages. So that's where we're at. If we want him to go and not be here, we gonna have to pay all his wages, if not the majority of them. So that's where we're at.
Do you think he'd be interested in a move back to Brazil, you know, your hometown? Obviously, I think he came up through Sao Paulo Academy.
Yeah, he did.
I remember reading. But obviously, Flamengo is still a big club in Brazil, so I'd be interested to see if that happens. But I don't know. I mean, Reina's just put there. I wouldn't loan him out. Still feel his experience and mentality during the season, especially in Europe, is better than 10, 15% a week some Brazilian team will pay. Would you agree with that?
He's clearly not a part of Amrin's system, is he? Like, he's not played barely anything.
But what about the dressing room?
I don't know. Like, we don't see the dressing room do it, so I'm not sure like what he offers behind the scenes. He seemed to be very pally with Rude, didn't he, when Leicester came? There was a lot of photos of them hugging and chatting and what have you. So I'm sure the dressing room likes him. He's been professional, it seems. His wife has piped down because she was chatting a lot of stuff, wasn't she? Like last time.
Yeah, you had the FA Cup situation, but that was it, really, wasn't it? Like...
He seems to be professional and just getting on with it, not sort of mentioning anything, which is good. What I'd expect of a player of his stature. But yeah, I get it. I get, for the sake of Casemiro, it would be good because he gets to play football, which is what he wants to do, obviously. And he's not around in the dressing room, so that Ruben Amorim's not going to be asked questions. But then we're not getting any benefit for it because none of the wages being taken off the books, which is what we need. So there's no benefit for United. So yeah, it's a sort of either or situation, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I think people get blinded a little bit by the name and the fact it's United. So Casemiro, United, quality. Where in actual fact, I mean, you saw Rafael Varane. He was still very good for us in the FA Cup final alongside the Sancho and still had his moments. But there's no doubt that he was definitely on the decline. And I think you would see a similar thing with Casemiro had he, you know, if he was to move to another club now. You would see, like, it would if he was playing more on a regular basis, how much the drop off has been. The first season he was incredible, though, wasn't he? Casemiro?
Oh no, amazing! Like you were like, you saw it and you're like, he's every penny worth, like that you've got out of it. And then I think you saw as well, you look at it in like a microcosm. Like if you looked at the FA Cup final of Varane and Leach together, and you're like, oh my god, what a performance! Like this is great centre back pairing, but then just never fit either of them. Were they? They just never. It never came together. Same with Luke Shaw. You saw like a massive performance. Just never, and then Casemiro's the same thing. First season, flying. Second season, terrible. And
I remember getting a hamstring against Palace as well. I think it was where he was out for like 9 weeks and then just never really. I mean, the amount of ground he was covering against under Ten Hag, that midfield.
Oh
I mean, that
just
probably killed him off
open.
alone. isn't it?
It was just a field, wasn't it? Just a field of like meadow in front of him that he had to sort of patrol. Ridiculous.
I mean, there's no doubt Amarin's going down the kind of more youthful route now. Ineos likewise as well. And this kind of entwines with the next story that we was going to discuss with Patrick Dorgu. So Romano put something out before, which I thought was interesting, that United had beat Napoli and Juventus to the signing of Dorgu. Both Italian clubs are in talks to sign him in the summer. Ruben Amarin's direct call with Dorgu had a massive impact in changing his story and making the deal happen immediately. There's a couple of things I want to ask about this. So one of the biggest talking points after the game against Leicester was the fact of him starting as a right wing back, which a lot of people was kind of confused by. Yeah. But also, do you think the reason why Dorgu was like, I have to go there, was maybe Amarin does see him as a first teamer this season? Maybe he will play quite a lot of minutes, you think?
Yeah, like Juve, they seem to mishandle young talent, don't they? They seem to bring in young players and then they don't know what to do with them. Like we saw Dean Huijsen go to Bournemouth, insane for what, 12 million?
Top
which
player.
is just baffling like business by Juventus. De Ligt came in, they didn't know what to do with him and he ended up going to Bayern at like 23. So they just seem to have they seem to be not playing. Who's the young attacking
Yildiz
guy?
Vlahovic.
Yeah, Yildiz. Is it Valdez? Yildiz?
Yildiz. So
Yildiz.
Yildaz,
yeah.
I think it is.
He doesn't seem to. He seems to start and then he's dropped. Doesn't he? He doesn't seem to be sort of like a fixture in the team. So yeah, Juventus is weird. So maybe he thought, I don't know where I'm going to fit in this team. And then Napoli. Were Napoli just trying to buy him because they wanted Garnacho?
Probably.
And they were like, you know what I mean? Because that's what they seem to be doing, don't they?
Surprise me.
So yeah, maybe, and I think the pull of Amarin was a big call. Like if he's personally rang him, like Fergie used to pull that all the time, didn't he? He used to ring players personally and be like, "I heard you were going here. Why don't you come to United?" Blah blah. So like, yeah, it's good to see the pull of the manager. Is that the one that's got him in the door? Obviously, we've got very little to go off because he's played 45 minutes out of position. So don't know what he's about yet. I hope to see him at left wing back at some point.
Definitely.
Yeah, Amarin's decision making a couple of times has sort of baffled me, and that was one of them in that game. I was like, I don't understand that. I don't know why he's done that.
What did you make of his cameo though? It's a small sample size, isn't it?
Yeah, decent. He got on the outside of players a couple of times, ran round him. He was quick. Definitely more attacking threat than sort of Mazraoui offers or Dallo offers or something. Like he's always forward thinking, which is what we need. I'd love to see him on the left and Ahmad on the right. I'd like to see that at some point. That would be, I think, the ideal situation with our wing backs. That's the way I think he wants to go eventually. So yeah, like small sample size, positive. But yeah, I need to see more before we sort of fully make our minds up. Let's not write him off after one game like everybody did against Ugarte. He's fucking shit. He's really shit.
Let us know your thoughts, guys, in the chat about Patrick Dorgu and where you want to see him more frequently and what you made of his little cameo against Leicester before he obviously got hooked off at half time. What we're going to do now, just to end the show for the last 5 minutes, I've got 10 real ridiculous quotes and 10 fake ones, right? And you guys have to kind of cipher through which ones are real and which ones are fake. So, this is the first one, Sam.
Are they from footballers? Or is it from
managers predominantly? Okay. I think there might be a few footballers in there. So, if someone's stupid enough to offer me a job, I might just take it. If not, I'll just sit at home, eat some crisp, and get fat.
That sounds like a Steve Bruce quote.
Paul Steve Bruce.
Do I have to go real or fake?
Yeah.
No, yeah. I'll go real. I think that's real.
Absolutely is real. It's Ian Holloway. It is.
That was close. Steve Bruce.
You're not far. Yeah, championship kind of caliber manager. Yeah. We are not just parking the bus. We are breaking down the bus station.
I think that's a fake. That's a twist of a Jose quote, isn't it? I think that's fake.
Final answer?
Yeah.
That's real. That's Louis van Gaal who said that.
Ah, shit.
Yeah. You're not far away. It's United.
Yeah.
So, do you know what I mean? Yeah. If Messi had played in the Premier League, he would have to adapt. Maybe he'd be a defensive midfielder.
Don't even know who would have said that. I would say fake because I don't know who would have said that.
Correct. That is fake. Yeah, absolutely. It was Brazil against Brazil, and unfortunately, we were the wrong Brazil.
The fuck? That sounds so insane that I say real. That sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, real. Phil
Who's
Brown.
that from?
That was.
Oh, for fuck!
I think he
Is
was
that
the
Hull City manager.
Hull City manager. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. He was the guy who got him on the pitch, didn't he? In the centre circle, and was just fucking shouting at him. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. Right, this one. I'd have won the Champions League 5 times if I'd managed in Spain. It's all about tactics, not players.
That sounds real to me.
That is fake. It's
fake?
Sam Allardyce, it says.
Sam Allardyce?
yeah, that is fake. I once watched 4,000 hours of a goalkeeper warming up to analyse his throw-ins.
Hope that's not real. I'll go real, but I hope not. Somebody's not watched 4,000 hours of what a
That's fake.
It's fake. Yeah, thank God.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, that's hilarious. Scolari, 4,000 hours. Pep's a different version. Thank God that's fake.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ricardo Diaz, who's a Sporting fan, just put in Dorgu will play on the left too, but don't forget that Ken Dot always played right wing with Ruben Amorim. Since then, we play 4-4-2. Ken Dot on the left. Thank you very much for that, Ricardo. Right, next one. Real or fake people? My biggest mentor is myself because I had to study, so that's been my biggest influence. That's Brendan Rodgers.
I was going to say, that's definitely real.
Yeah.
Because he's so full of shit. Like, he has said some mental shit, by the way. Mental shit. But, like, oh.
Sorry, go on.
I've got to bring up Brendan Rodgers' quotes because, honest to God, you will not believe some of this shit that he said. It's so funny. Right, get the next one and then I'll load these.
This is one of my favourite ones. So this Harry Redknapp, yeah? He's 6'2", he's fit as a flea, good looking. I'm not a homosexual. Real or fake?
I want to say fake because if it's real, Jesus Christ.
Final answer?
Yeah, fake.
It's real.
Oh my God. That's
Harry Redknapp.
Ridiculous. Mate, can't be. That's ridiculous.
Fit as a flea, good looking. I'm not homosexual.
I'm not homosexual.
As if you had to, like...
Just to qualify, yeah, just qualify. I'm not gay. So I'm not
gay. Next one. The secret to football is pasta. You eat pasta, you win. Simple.
That's fake.
Correct. That is fake. Yeah. When we lose, it's unfair. When we win, it's deserved. This is football.
That sounds like a Ten Hag quote.
That trophies are just trophies.
Yeah. Arsenal. Yeah, I'll go real.
Fake. That is fake. That is Arsene Wenger. But it is, it's Arsenal. If I could manage my dog, I'd expect him to be more disciplined than some of these players.
That sounds real to me. That sounds like an Ian Holloway or thingy quote.
What are you going with?
Yeah, I'll go real.
That is real. That's Roy Keane who said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the last one. Oh, which one should I go with? At Leeds, we don't have any problems with discipline. We just have a few misunderstood players.
Real.
Yes. David O'Leary.
Yeah.
That was.
Yeah.
When he managed Leeds all them years ago, 20, 30 years ago, I think it was.
Right.
Rated it is, sorry, just let me start. Rated it is to the Ten Hag quote as to have the phrase, stick to the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Clear.
All right. Here's a couple of like quotes from Brendan Rodgers. He's just out of his fucking mind. I will leave no stone unturned in my quest, and that quest will be relentless. I've always worked with the statistic you could dominate the game and the ball if you have 79% chance of winning the game. What the fuck is he talking about? What is he talking about? I always say a squad is like a good meal. I'm not a great cook, but a good meal takes time. Also, to offer a good meal, you need good ingredients. Okay.
Oh my God. Imagine saying that in a fucking dressing room, sat with a load of players. You're like, shut the fuck up.
Let me find this one. I've always said you can live without water for many days, but you can't live for a second without hope. Jesus Christ. Brendan Rodgers. And then final one. If you give a player a bad time, he can play. If you give a player a good time, he can kill you. I don't know what that means.
Thanks for that. Did not have Brendan Rodgers quotes on my bingo card today, but look, sometimes this is where the show goes. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Give yourselves a pat on the back if you did well in the fake versus real. I think Sam did relatively decent in that. I always like doing little interactive things. Apart from that, enjoy the rest of your day, people. Drop us a follow on socials, bottom right hand corner of your screen, just where Sam is, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Check us out over on there for all the latest news surrounding Manchester United. And also hit that subscribe button if you are new, and smash a like on the video. Take care, every single one of you. Me and Sam. We'll see you.